Hi, I'm back with my favorite books of 2022. I know it's March, I am aware, but I had issues with my filming device and it took me that long to figure it out. But at least the quality is better now, I hope. And I still wanted to make this video because 2022 was my first year on BookTube, and favorites of the year videos are my favorite videos of each year. So I really wanted to make my own, even if it's that late. And these recommendations all still stand, so why not make the video in March? So let's just jump right in, right? These are in no particular order, except for the last one, which is going to be my favorite book of 2022. We're gonna start with I Kissed Shara Wheeler by Casey McQuiston. I read this during the Summer Splash readathon. I will link my vlog down below. I found more than one favorite book of the year during that readathon, so clearly very successful. This one is about, actually, Shara Wheeler is not the main protagonist. Our main protagonist is Chloe? Yes, Chloe. And Chloe had to move to this small town in the south. I think it was Carolina. I don't know. She had to move to this small town in the south. She's openly queer and she's having a bit of a hard time there. She has a group of friends, but generally, as expected, the people in the small town are not really accepting of queer people. And I love this book because I think it depicts a kind of shit small town high school experience very well. I also thought it was super wholesome, the way it all came together. Maybe, of course, a bit unrealistic, but I'm not here for realism. I want cute queer love stories, which I got with this one. And it's also notably the first book that ever made me cry, which is weird because it's not a particularly sad book or even a particularly emotional book, but clearly for me it was. I don't know, something I discovered this year, something about queer love stories makes me cry more than anything else in books. And this one was the first one, so of course it gets a spot in here. I mean, I've been a reader my whole life, and this is the first book that actually made me cry, so it's wonderful, it's wholesome, it's gonna be a great reread once I do that, and I'm looking forward to reading more by Casey McQuiston. Then we continue with Heartstopper Volume 1. Yes, I too read Heartstopper in 2022. I think everyone who hasn't done that before 2022 then did it before the show came out, including me. And I absolutely adored it. What a sweet comic. Oh my god. I just yesterday finished the 4th volume, but that's gonna be in my favorites of 2023. Spoiler. Anyway, the series is so cute and the first one is so wholesome. I just love Alice Oseman. Oh my god. They are doing so much for our community. I'm so thankful that she exists. So thankful. Oh, I haven't mentioned what Heartstopper is about. I'm sure you know, but the short version is it's about 2 teenage boys who fall in love and everything that comes with that. It's the most adorable thing ever. It is, in my opinion, the most realistic depiction of how teenagers act and how teenagers text, actually, that I've ever read. I mean, I'm not a teenager anymore, so it could have changed, but this made me feel like I was a teenager again. It was so accurate. And also like the feelings that you get when you have a crush as a teenager are just, oh, I don't know how you can depict something so accurately in a graphic novel, but Alice Oseman just does it, and I love it so much. And I'm so sad that the series will end soon, but also so excited for the 5th volume. Okay, the next one I'm going to talk about is Word Slut by Amanda Montell. This book. Oh, this is a non-fiction about gender within the English language, and I just ate it up. I am a very passionate feminist, as I hope we all are, and I also study linguistics, which I love. This book was just a marriage of two of my favorite things, but it was also executed so brilliantly. I learned new stuff, and it was never boring or dry. Amanda Montell has an amazing writing style. It feels like you're just talking with your best friend instead of reading a non-fiction book. It's amazing, but it never lacks research or anything like that. It's just wonderful, and I think it's a book that many more people should read because it makes you more aware of the power of language, and it teaches you many important new things. Also, Amanda Montell is always inclusive of people of color and all genders, which is something I'm always a bit worried about when I go into a feminist book by a white person. You never quite know whether it's gonna be inclusive, but this one definitely is. And I just think, again, if you pick any non-fiction up next year or this year, in fact, make it this one. It's really amazing. Next is going to be the Falling in Love montage. This is another one I read during the Summer Splash Readathon, and again, a queer YA love story. It's about the summer of two girls in Ireland, and they make a pact to do all the stuff in a rom-com love montage and just scrap the relationship part. Obviously, you can guess what happens next. But it's also quite heavy, which I didn't know before. It deals quite heavily with the dementia of one of the girl's mother. And it's sad, and it explores many emotions of grief and confusion and what it's like to deal with something like that when you're just a teenager. It really touched me. It also made me cry. Maybe I was just very emotional that week, but I think this one really is a very emotional read, and I think it's one that kind of floats under the radar. I want more people to pick it up. It's absolutely wonderful. It's a good time. It has its lighter moments, but it's generally, I think, more of a hard-hitting YA. Next, I'm going to talk about the only middle grade on this list, which is The Aurelia Curse. It's the 3rd book in the Dragon Rider series by Cornelia Funke. Cornelia Funke is one of my favorite authors. She is the author who kind of shaped my childhood. I read so many of her books in my childhood, and they meant so much to me and still do today, including the 1st book in the Dragon Rider series. It took, I think, 15 or 20 years for the 2nd one to come out, which, as a reader, you'll know that's a bit nerve-wracking. You never know whether sequels that take so long and were never originally planned are actually going to be good. But the 2nd one was good. It wasn't the whimsy, or it wasn't all the whimsy and magic of the 1st one, but it was good. And when the 3rd one came out, I was completely down to reading it. I didn't expect it to be that wonderful. Oh my god, it's so wholesome. All the characters are so amazing, and it's just so magical. And most of all, Cornelia Funke's writing is just the most unique and wonderful thing on this earth. Honestly, I've never read someone who compares. Honestly, like, her writing, it makes you feel like the world is rough and it's bad, but at the same time it wraps a blanket around you and makes you feel cozy and loved. And it's the most beautiful thing, really. I highly encourage you to pick up anything by Cornelia Funke, but the Dragon Rider series is a great choice. I have reread the first book so many times, and I'm gonna reread the third book also so many times. It's so wholesome. The Dragon Rider series is about Ben, who is a little human boy who meets a dragon. This dragon, I think, originally lives in Ireland, but that's not the perfect environment for a dragon because too many humans are there and these dragons have to hide from them. There is rumored to be a perfect place for dragons though. Somewhere in the Himalaya there is apparently the heaven for dragons. So Ben and this dragon go on an adventure to find this place in the first book. The series is so wonderful. It has amazing commentary on why we should protect this earth and that we should protect this earth. The characters are incredibly wholesome. I just cannot recommend it enough. Whether you're an adult or actually middle grade age, it doesn't matter. It's so beautiful. And now for my favorite book of 2022, which is actually now my favorite book of all time. I cannot believe I'm saying this. I have had a favorite book of all time since 2012, and now it's changed. And that new favorite book is again by Alice Oseman, and it's Loveless. Loveless is about Georgia, who starts university, and she has never been in love. She's never had a boyfriend. She's never even had a crush. And she's very much figuring out those feelings in this book and slowly discovering the terms aromantic and asexual. This book, again, is so important. I cannot thank Alice Oseman enough to bring aro and ace identities into the mainstream. It's so important. So many people are going to find themselves through this book. It's an amazing story. It describes what it's like to be aromantic so perfectly. Do you know these books where you read and you read a line that hits you so hard that you have to put the book down for a second and just like breathe and process this line? With this book I had to do that like every second line, like being the whole time. It's so amazing, and I already reread it. It even got better on the reread. I don't know how that happened. I love it so much. I will never be able to put that into words. I will never be able to describe that perfectly. I just hope more people pick it up because it's so important. It's beautifully written. It has amazing friendship. It has the cutest side character love story ever. It just has it all, and it's wonderful. And that was my favorite books of 2022. I hope you enjoyed. Have a nice day. I'll see you, hopefully, faster than last time.